Every morning, lad, I'd just roll over and start crying. Every single morning without fail. We're going to James's place, a suicide prevention centre for people who are having mental problems and bad thoughts and stuff, and they want to get some help. It's close to my heart because my mate Rick died, suicide. It's happening a lot in this city, it's happening a lot with young men around the world, so people need to talk about it, and people who are in my position should be talking about it.
There's a stigma in this world that men can't talk. Listen, if you're a man and you've got weight on your shoulders and you think the only way you can solve this by killing yourself, please speak to someone. Speak to anyone. I know I'd rather me mate cry on my shoulder than go to his funeral next week. So please, let's get rid of this stigma and men start talking.
After he spoke about his friend Ricky, I must have had 15 messages for people saying you need to get Paddy in James's place. He just talks to the men that we want to get here. You know, the fellas that we see come to us because they have got to a place where they feel that their death by suicide is the answer to the problems they're facing. So James Wentworth Stanley was a young man who killed himself in 2006. A really happy, well-loved young man, but just became really acutely distressed and killed himself. He did ask for help, but it just didn't come to him at the right time. And his mum wanted a place where he would have felt comfortable. After 6-8 sessions of therapy with one of our therapists, their lives are completely different and turned around. Your death by suicide is never the answer to any problem. The people around you do care. They will not be better off without you. Things can get better.
You know, it's a real privilege getting to work with men in a really vulnerable position and seeing them through the crisis. You know, it's really rewarding.
I'd associated something like this with like a hospitalised setting, something really clinical, like men in white coats.
Yeah.
But I knew the minute I came through this door, you feel how calm it is, how warm it is. I felt safe the minute I come in here, and that was enough for me then to actually be honest about what was going on, about how I was feeling.
It's a heavy atmosphere in here, like proper chilled on.
It's like having another therapist, Paddy. It's like having a therapist who's calmed somebody down.
If you think there's nowhere you can go, there's this place here. So for you to say it in the Octagon was literally the message that we're trying to send.
I had a proper rough patch in like 2018. I got surgery in the May and then I fought in September. I shouldn't have, my hand was still cabbaged. I fought because I felt like the whole weight of the show was on my shoulders. It was in the echo. Everyone else would have lost out on a payday if I pulled out. So I just fought, and I still nearly finished them in the first round. I had a choke in. I had this arm under what I'd broke, so I couldn't get the full strength on the squeeze to finish the rear naked choke. He got out, I ended up losing a decision. I felt like I'd let everyone down. I'll never forget going back into the changes and just crying my eyes out, and I had a proper adrenaline dump and was spewing everywhere and it stunk. People were laughing at me, but like as I say, I was crying, and then I was just the same for weeks. Every morning, lad, I'd just roll over and start crying. Every single morning without fail, for about 3 months. The only thing what got me through it was ended up talking to people. That saying, get it off your chest, is one of the best sayings ever, lad. Because when you do speak to someone, you feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Every single man, probably, most of men I've seen, you know, what you've just said, very much, you know, in different words, but that's the story that comes through. Things go wrong, and then it's all this feelings of letting yourself, other people down, and then the shame of feeling like that.
I watched the video last night and it said, the only things what isn't loved unconditionally is men. Women, kids, pets, they're all loved unconditionally. Men aren't. You have to provide something. You have to put food on the table or provide a house or give something, you know what I mean?
It's how we've been, we as a society have been bringing men up for centuries, and it's just like, it's not, you know, it's not working anymore.
And in your situation, when you lost the fight, that was your life, right? That's what defined you.
Obviously it's a bit of ego as well, without even,
and
if you're being honest about it.
They're all normal things that we have, right? We bottle them up, we don't tell anyone, and then they become worse in our heads, and we start telling ourselves, we start telling ourselves things that don't really exist, and before you know it, you've got yourself in this really, really big hole. And I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I started actually speaking out loud about stuff that was going on with me, and it actually started to sound different. It started to sound better just by saying it.
Yeah.
And someone else would go, well, you know, have you thought about this? Or you just feel more support and you'd feel a bit lighter. But the more I said it, the more I felt like I could get control of it again.
Yeah.
And be like, well, hang on a minute, do I actually believe this?
I think it's because when you say something in your head, you give yourself so many different options. When you speak to someone about it, they say, oh yeah, that's that and that. There's like, and you can ask them twice, but when you say in your own head, you go, that can branch off there, and that can branch off there, and then that twig comes off there, and then there, and then that leaf nut, and then you're just like, oh my God.
So we call this bit of our intervention, Paddy, lay your cards on the table.
And that's literally what you do. So I would pass you the set, and I would then ask you to like pick the cards that you feel that describe you.
To be honest, if I think back to when I was feeling bad and I was low, every single card I've went through so far I'd put down. Angry, humiliated, desperate,
put them down, lad.
Lonely. Every single one of them when I was sitting in my room crying, embarrassed I got beat in front of like 10,000 people, ashamed, guilty because I shouldn't have even fought, sad, trapped in my own bedroom, scared of what people would laugh at me like, slow because I wouldn't even get out of bed.
This is just a very good starting point that shows where the problems are and what can be done.
You can start working towards a solution.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say it like this, but I always say I like didn't have the bottle to try and kill myself.
I'm always delighted when people sort of say, I feel really awful, but I just know I would never. Because I've not got the bottle.
That's the way I thought.
But we're not supposed to have the bottle.
No, we're not.
Because we're not supposed to want to die.
I did think about it, late 2018, early 19, and then I just thought of all the people around me. Like, if I killed myself, what would my dad do? I mean, mum obviously, what would they do? I've got nieces and nephews and sisters and brothers and fiancé.
So they're all connecting you to the world, aren't they?
I always say I'm lucky there's people who haven't got that, and that's why we need places like this, and we need more places like this, and you just need government funding more than anything.
As a role model, you talking honestly about mental health and maybe pushing people in a similar position to you to maybe be a bit more daring and a bit louder talking about mental health, and maybe even daring to talk about suicide prevention will be really powerful.
We've had a belted little chat, got the James place out there a bit more. Hopefully you get donating some money, people. We're gonna go to Next Gen now anyway and get on the mat and have a good time doing some boxing.
You ready for it?
He's as ready as can be.
Wait, aren't I?
Born ready.
I'm not ready at all, I'm afraid, but I'll give it a go. One of the things that we talk to the fellas about, what's important to them, what do they want to do, how can they start finding a bit of meaning back in their lives. Physical activity is massively important.
What do you think it can give you, lad, Paddy, other than like fighting skills? Like, what does it give you?
It gives you confidence, lad. That's the biggest one for me, it gives you confidence. Gotta get them white socks off. Gotta get them white socks off. I always say to me mates, 95% of people can't throw a punch. If you're one of them 5% what can actually throw a punch, you feel like you believe in yourself more, you've got a bit more confidence, you know what I mean? You're not so reserved. You'll put yourself out there a little bit more when you know you can defend yourself. And it's not just that, it's the fitness part of it as well. Fitness is a big thing, especially to do with your mental health. If you're not fit and you don't feel comfortable in your own body, then you're not going to feel good mentally, are you? So getting in the gym, it helps a lot, as I said earlier today. When I get on the mat, I forget about all my problems outside of it. All I think about is not getting punched in the face and trying to punch someone in the face. So it's the ultimate release.
It doesn't always have to be about fighting. A lot of people come to the gym and do it as a hobby. It's a different thing as going to the gym or doing weights. It can get you like fit in other ways, as doing boxing, hitting pads or jiu-jitsu. It's always good for your mental health to train. Any type of training is good and makes you feel good about yourself.
Yes, Jack, lad. How are we, Virgin?
Jack's been coming here since he was about 11 or something. Yeah, he's been coming here since he was a proper kid. He's a man now.
How do you feel about you're about to train?
Excited, yeah, made up, happy, looking forward to it.
How are you feeling, lad? Now you're seeing the mat?
I'm alright, I've had a coffee, so but training was a big thing for me. When I was struggling, making sure I felt like, there was something that was lifting me up, physically, mentally, so yeah, I'll always be there for it. Just hoping none of these kids beat me up, that's basically it.
Today's class is just a beginner boxing class, so there's a couple of different levels, from amateur fighters to people's first day. So it's just going to be some simple basic technique, some pads, and then a little light move round at the end showing them the ropes. when it comes to trying to get fit and healthy and in shape. Turning up to the gym every day takes a big thing to do and walk in the door. When it's your first session, it can be nervous to walk in a gym for your first session.
And obviously the social side of it, because you come in, you're meeting new people, you partner up with someone in boxing and you drill together, you know what I mean? It's also the social side, you're not just sitting in your bedroom all day, you're actually getting out and you're talking to people and you're learning new things. I always say like boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, it also gets a bit of anger out. You don't really get that much anger out when you're on a treadmill, you know what I mean? So actually punching something, it releases that energy what you need to get rid of.
Let me see you try. This hustle, baby, hustle. What the
Use your range a bit more.
I just hope that people watching have realised that we've demystified what it's like getting help for your mental health. The therapists are people like me and Jiva. You know, we're not sort of weird therapists who'll ask you all sorts of weird questions. We just want to help.
That's the end of the episode, people. I hope it's enlightened a few people and showed some people that there is help out there. You know what I mean? I'm going to put the link in the description. So if anyone needs any sort of help, it's always there for you. James Place, what an amazing place. Don't want to have to have anyone else on a t-shirt like I've got Ricky. Anyone that needs help, go to James Place, go and speak to the people there, because it's an unbelievable place. Donate what you can. I'm going to get donating myself. I'm going to try and help with fundraisers. That'll all be in the description. That's the most important message today, people. But as always, I'm going to say, like, comment, subscribe. See you next week.